Ladies and gentlemen, live from the West Bank of the Flats, it's your show you love all day long. It's Cleveland Sports 360 with your host, LG, and his special guest in studio today, LFLer, Miss Kelli Leabu. And now, without further ado, it's your boy LG with Cleveland Sports 360.
Hey, how you all doing out there tonight? Here we are again on the West Bank of the Flats. Unfortunately, we had another loss from our Cleveland Browns yesterday. It seems to be a trend here in Cleveland, ladies and gentlemen. If you grew up in the Cleveland area, you're used to having losing teams. Kelli, I know that you watch a little football once in a while. What is your thoughts of the Cleveland Browns this year?
We need a better offense for sure. It sucks that we lose most games, but I'm a diehard Browns fan, so.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Kelli Leabu, former LFL cornerback from the Chicago Bliss. As you can see, another victim of LFL football at its finest. She had a torn ACL. Some cartilage damage in her right knee. She went through surgery. You can see by the brace, again, I'm sorry we have to dwell on the LFL that, they don't want to pay their bills. Kelli had to go and get this knee surgically repaired on her own. We want to give a shout out to David Foreman, the LFL attorney that keeps trying to call Kelli here. Dave, I'm sure you can see that Kelli's been a little bit tied up. We know you have the number to ClevelandTalkSports.com. Feel free to give us a call after the 6:30 hour, Dave, if you care to share any information with us.
Why don't you give me that number, LG?
Just in case, Dave, you lost the number, you misplaced it. It's area code 216-672-4300. Again, we've invited you to the show before. I don't know why you keep trying to get through to people's cell phones when obviously you know the number to the station. Again, it's 216-672-4300. Kelli's a little tied up. We had a little bit of getting ready to do the show. It took her a while to get up the 2 flights of stairs to get to the second floor of the Cleveland Talk Sports studios. Give her a break, you guys. I mean, she's recuperating from a serious injury that she sustained playing in the LFL. But, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk a little I want to give a shout out to all the high school football players that made the playoffs. There's a bunch of different teams. Kenyon attended the St. Ed's. Was it Kenyon?
St. Ed's Cleveland Heights game. Unfortunately, Cleveland Heights went down.
There was a big injury during that game. It took about 45 minutes to stop the game, get the ambulance there, pick the player up off the field. We want to give a shout-out. Hopefully that guy's recuperating. I want to give a shout-out to Gabe Hoos over at St. Joe's, Bella Angela. The Vikings had a 6-5 record this season. They made it to the playoffs. Unfortunately, they lost their first playoff game, and their season's over. But anyways, Gabe, thanks for sharing that little bit of information with us at Cleveland Sports 360. We appreciate it. Kelli, this Cleveland Browns football is really starting to affect people. I mean, I noticed during the day I was out in different venues, and people were just so disgusted with the loss. I mean, how's the atmosphere about where you've been able to go?
It's depressing to watch.
Are people's moods generally affected by this football?
Oh, definitely. When you want to watch your team win and they lose, it's disheartening. I mean, it sucks.
So it's bad enough you have to make these doctor visits and stuff. Now you're forced to sit next to people that are in a state of depression because their favorite sports team just can't get it done. I thought there was a ray of hope for Cleveland fans this year, Kelli, when the Cleveland Browns went out and they got Mike Holmgren. And, he brought Tom Heckard aboard as the general manager. I thought, these guys know what they're doing. They know how to build a football team. And as you pointed out, we need a better offense. We need some better offensive players. What sticks out in your mind on the offense that we really need?
We need some better receivers and a better offensive line.
Now, you being an LFL cornerback, and you were playing the defense, did you ever have any interceptions or anything?
No interceptions.
But were you pretty good at your position?
Yeah, I adjust for every game.
And what
except for the playoff game. before I got hurt.
You were injured, right?
Right.
Yeah. Now, how do you like the secondary on the Cleveland Browns with Joe Hayden and T.J. Ward? What do you think of these guys? I mean, our pass defense is ranked number 1 in the NFL right now. Unfortunately, our run defense is ranked at 30th. I mean, that's just despicable for the Browns. But that secondary must be performing pretty well against the pass, huh?
Right.
So I think the Browns need to go after a good linebacker. What else they need? It could be a couple of more, I don't know what Phil Taylor's doing on the defensive line for the Browns. He needs to step it up a little bit. You hardly even hear his number being called. Rubin's doing a fantastic job. DeQuell Jackson on the defense is outstanding at linebacker this year. Scott Fajita is doing a great job. He had an outstanding number of tackles yesterday. It's unfortunate that the runner gets that far up the field before somebody has to tackle him. Dick Duran, you really got to step up this run defense. I don't know what you're going to have to tell your players. Maybe get more than 4 guys on the line of scrimmage. You're going to have to stuff the run because these guys are just going to run all over the Cleveland Browns, and it's just despicable, man. People are getting sick and tired of it. I know you got to give Holmgren a chance to build a team. We might be 1 or 2 drafts away from getting a better team, and it's just unbelievable. Now, when you played for the Chicago Bliss team, what kind of record did you guys have? Did you win a lot of games?
We were undefeated until we played LA in the last game before the playoffs, and we went into overtime and we lost by a touchdown, and then we played them in playoffs too.
So, unfortunately, you had to sit out the playoffs because you suffered a pretty severe injury. Tell us about the injury. What was the diagnosis of your leg? What really happened to it?
Well, I got injured during practice, and I went for an MRI, and I found out I tore my ACL, and I have ripped cartilage. Also, I damaged my meniscus, so it was unrepairable. It kind of just cut off a little piece, so it didn't give me that pinching feeling anymore.
So you had pain just to walk. It felt like something was inside there physically pinching you?
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you describe this pain as?
A 10, for sure.
And was that a constant 10 pain?
10 for the first month, at least. My leg was badly swollen, bruised after I hurt myself, and then I didn't have surgery until September, the end of September. I never not thought about my leg injury. I had a constant pinching pain. The hospital that I went to, I ended up starting to do rehab before my surgery. It helped a little bit, but still, it's constant.
So basically, you suffered an injury. I know you probably signed one of these LFL contracts, and inside the contract there's a box here that describes how the players were supposed to get paid by the LFL. It was 20% of the winning tickets, the sales after paying for the arena or whatnot. 20% of the ticket sales were supposed to be split evenly amongst the 14 active players. Is that about what happened?
Yeah, that's correct.
So you used to get paid to play this lingerie football.
I did.
And then there's another box on page 6, I believe, or so of maybe page page 6 or 7 on this contract that you have an option to pick up the LFL health insurance policy. Did that cost you money?
Yeah, I checked it off because I had no insurance at the time, and I paid $250 for it.
So you paid to have the LFL healthcare insurance policy in case of an injury. Is that correct?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so they clearly took the money out of your paycheck.
Yeah, as the first paycheck that I received, they took the money out.
So, tell us a little bit, how did that work out for you, this LFL healthcare insurance policy?
Once I found out I was injured, I emailed the league about my injury. I was emailed back with, kind of a rude response. It's kind of like the runaround. They ended up never helping me. I mean, very little did they try to help, but nothing ever came of it.
So I think you were kind enough. This is your email, right?
Correct.
And let me just brief this for you people out there. I don't want to bore you to death with a lot of paperwork, but it's clearly clean cut and to the point. Kelli says, who can I contact about my injury? I was injured on practice. I went to the doctor. I got an MRI. I received the results. I tore my ACL, tore some cartilage in my right knee. I have insurance through the league. I need the LFL insurance information, so I need to schedule surgery and blah, blah, blah. Okay? So that sounds about right to you, huh?
Oh, yeah.
You contacted,
of course, I wanted to get it taken care of.
And that was addressed to Maggie and Heather, right?
Correct.
Who is Maggie and Heather?
Maggie, I guess, she's Mitch Mortaza's fiance. She's kind of his partner, I guess you would say. She's there at all the games. She's the one that coordinates a lot of the, there's a lot of everything that goes on within the LFL. Maggie is another one that helps with the teams, and, before the games, she's the one, them two are the ones running around getting the girls ready and everything.
I can't help but to notice, unfortunately, if you viewers out there have seen the last two shows that we did on Cleveland Sports 360, the last two Monday night shows, it's the same old song and dance when it comes to Mortaza's LFL Football League. We've talked to a number of players who have sustained severe injuries in the Lingerie Football League, and it's always the same story, that they get a runaround when it comes time to play to pay for these injuries or to use the insurance that these girls put their hard-earned money into, that this Mortaza charges these girls for the insurance. And then you guys, does this sound like a common story to you?
Yeah.
Other players this happened to?
Yeah. The way I found out about this, when I got injured, when I received this email, kind of freaked me out that they were giving me attitude about it. So I actually heard of the Natasha Lindsay story. I Googled it and I found the article that they wrote on her. So I contacted her, and she was going through the same stuff.
So that's what you had to finally do to try to get some health care insurance information?
Right. She was actually the one to email me about the insurance.
So you never got a card in the mail or a benefit of booklet, a declaration of benefits or
Nothing.
anything like that,
Nothing.
even though you paid the money to this league for this health care insurance policy?
Yeah.
Unbelievable, folks. Kelli just sent that email. We just briefly read it to you, and then she gets a little bit of attitude back from the league. You didn't report this injury. This is the first I'm hearing about it. This is from Heather Thizon, or whatever her name is, the creative director of the Lingerie Football League, who approved the MRI. We have a very strict policy when it comes to reporting injuries. Now, you took this injury to the team trainer and said, hey, man, I hurt my knee, right?
Yeah, she was there when it happened. I did it in front of the coach. I did this in practice. Everyone was there.
So as far as you know, the team trainer was fully aware that you injured your leg.
Oh, right.
And this team trainer works for the LFL?
She does not work for the LFL. She was a volunteer. She did work for the LFL, I believe. She had a contract the year before, but she only volunteered to help the team because, she had relationships with the girls. She was well aware of what Mitch does and kind of how he operates about injuries. So,
did she ever get any attitude like this for other players that got injured?
Yeah, she's told me about a story about how some girl got hurt in a game and she had to take an ambulance, because she's spitting up blood, and Mitch gave her, gave her a problem about why she put the girl in an ambulance to go to the hospital. A
girl that was spitting up blood.
Blood, right.
And let me ask you, did Mitch want this girl to hang around longer for the TV cameras or anything, or was this during a game, or was this, when did this happen with this girl? Was it at practice?
I don't know. I think it happened during a game, but I think she'd be better to tell you the story. But
okay.
She knows that, he isn't going to fully help you with your injuries, I guess.
Unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short couple-minute break here. We got our beautiful co-host this evening, Kelli Leabu from ex-Lingerie Football League player. You can see by her legs she's recouping an injury. You know, ladies and gentlemen, it's the same old song and dance when it comes to Mitch Mortaza's Lingerie Football League. Again, the number to call if you're a LFL lawyer or not is 216-672-4300. You got any questions, give us a call. We'll be glad to try to answer the questions. Keep it appropriate, gentlemen. Hey, I want to tell you one thing, man. If you haven't put money away for a rainy day, let's suppose you just were devastated, you got a divorce, you don't know what to do, you're finally on your own, and you have some money, you don't know how to invest it. I would strongly suggest calling Vicky Manarino over at Raymond James Financial Services. She's specially certified in helping people that have received divorce settlements or that have had somebody in their family pass away and leave them some money. You need to put money away for a rainy day. Give Vicky Manarino a call at 440-516-7550 today. Visit her website, RaymondJames.com/Vicky Manarino, or you can call her toll free at 888-289-7550. Hey, we're glad to have aboard my lawyer, Lawrence Hupert's attorney at law. If you guys have a legal problem you need to get taken care of, give Larry Hupert's a call. Very nice guy, great lawyer. I don't care if you want to make your last will and testament, you got a real estate transaction to take care of, or you're going to sign an LFL football contract and you need legal advice before you sign it. That's the key. Give Larry Hupert's a call over at Larry Hupert's attorney at law, 216-378-2130. Or you can call him, believe it or not, if it's an emergency, on his cell phone at 216-789-2092. If it's a criminal case, you got a traffic violation, DUI, you name it, you have a problem that you need a good attorney, get a hold of Larry Hupert's. We'll be back in 2 minutes with Kelli Leabu. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Cleveland Sports 360 show. We're coming at you live from the West Bank of the Flats every Monday night from 6 till 7 p.m. We're joined on the set with my beautiful co-host for this evening, Kelli Leabu. I think we have a caller coming in. Kelli, are you ready to take some questions? You know, who knows who's going to call? We'll find out in a minute. But are you ready for some question and answer period?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, hey, caller, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, what's up?
Hello.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up?
Hi.
I got a question for Kelli.
Yeah, what's that?
I got a question for Kelli.
Okay, what's your question?
When did this injury take place, and how long? When did this injury take place?
I injured myself January 20th of this year.
Hey, you gotta turn your computer down, caller, and back away from your phone just a little bit, okay? We're getting a big echo here. Turn your computer down and back away from your phone just a little bit.
Okay.
That's better.
I just was curious. How long did it take her to get the surgery?
I just had surgery at the end of September 21st.
Why did it take so long?
It's a lot of. I tried to get insurance. I had to find someone to give me the surgery I needed to fix it. The league didn't help with it, so I did it on my own.
Now, pretty
The
sure.
LFL, did the LFL put you off?
What do you mean by that?
Well, did they delay it?
Did they what?
Did they delay the surgery, or did they have anything to do with the surgery?
No, I contacted them. I had insurance through the league, and it was only for $10,000. They didn't cover it. $10,000 doesn't even cover rehab for my surgery, so I had to go elsewhere.
You know what the problem is, caller? When Kelli first went to the Cleveland Clinic to try to get her knee repaired, the league, tell us that story real quick. I think that you're interested in what did the league do for this lady. Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah, tell us the story. What happened when you went to the Cleveland Clinic?
Okay, so I had insurance through the league, and it's from my understanding, it was for any injuries that happened during practice or games. And so I would go to the Cleveland Clinic. I went for an appointment after my injury, and they ask you the standard question every time you go in for an appointment. Do you have any pain? I said, yeah, my knee hurts a lot. I heard it in practice. And she said, oh, do you want me to take a look at it? And I said, no, I have insurance through the league. I want the league to cover my injury. So once I found out, I emailed the league, and it took a while for them to get back to me. And after that, is a $10,000 camp, so they didn't, help me with my injury, and the Cleveland Clinic couldn't help me because I already said I had insurance.
Well, didn't Mitch Mortaza actually have some correspondence, or did he call somebody at the Cleveland Clinic?
Yeah, I told him the story about how the clinic could possibly help me with my surgery because they have like charity kind of type cases, and he called the clinic and kind of spoke with the financial counselor and try to kind of swindle a deal for them to take on my case and, try to talk to them about how Cleveland's getting a team and just trying to make, I guess, pay as little as possible for them to take care of my injury.
And what was their response to the league after the league contacted the Cleveland Clinic?
The lady kind of laughed it off like, I can't believe this guy's calling me. This is the clinic. We don't make deals like that.
So does that pretty much answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you for calling in, man. Thanks for watching the Cleveland Sports 360 show. We appreciate that, too.
Thanks.
Hey, so, you guys are just tuning in now. Maybe you got a little late home. Who knows what the case is? You should get on time to watch the Cleveland Sports 360 show right at 6. You won't miss nothing. This is Kelli Leabu from the I did it again. I'm sorry. Kelli Leabu.
Yes.
From the ex-LFL football player from the Chicago Bliss. She hurt her knee. She had a complete torn ACL, meniscus damage that had to be removed, and she has some cartilage damage in her knee. So before we took the break, we were talking about your correspondence back and forth with the LFL, trying to get their insurance information, trying to get some things to kick in. And we touched on the point of this Heather lady didn't think you probably reported the injury right, even though you said right at practice, I hurt my knee.
Right.
So then we got some other emails back and forth. Can you run us through any more of that? How did that work out for you?
Well, after I emailed Heather and she emailed me back saying that I didn't follow proper procedure, I got an email from the medical coordinator. I don't know if he's still the medical coordinator, but it was from Jeremy Fisher, and it was kind of a nasty letter. It was telling me that, my injury isn't a pressing issue. You have it right there. I think it's number 3, what it says.
This guy is the medical director, or was the medical director for what, the LFL?
Yes.
And his name is Jeremy Fisher.
Right. And we never got emails about who to contact about an injury. I mean, I just figured go to Heather because I didn't know anybody else that worked in the league. I mean,
yeah, but this guy sends you a letter, and he's supposed to be a professional person. It says, Kelli, I'd like to leave you with a word of advice. Please, in the future, do not anger the people who pay the expensive bills for you when you haven't followed the proper protocol or outlined in the manual we supposedly given to you. Follow the proper protocol and do not come off like your injury is the most important and pressing issue. As a medical profession, I deal with about 30 injuries a day at least. All of them are important to me. You know, this guy doesn't realize each individual person is their own being, and their knee is a very important tool for them to get around and be able to function in everyday life. So, Mr. Fisher, I got some advice for you. Learn some better damn bedside manner, man. You ought to be smacked around a little bit. You ever send me a letter like that, I don't know what would happen to you, man. I don't even understand how you could treat a lady like this. Her injury is not important. You got to be despicable, buddy. I don't know what the hell the league's doing for you, man, but I would get away from that and so you can get some manners again, man.
I do have to say, after that letter, you know, I talked to him a few times. I think he ended up feeling bad for me, that he knew that I was kind of stuck with no help from anybody else. He did try to help me,
well,
but
he felt bad, but did he help you?
No.
Did he crack open
there's
a wallet?
nothing he could do.
Did he crack open his wallet and say,
No.
Kelly, guess what? You know what? I know your knee hurts, and I know it's important to you, even though I tried to belittle you in this letter.
Right.
And I said, you know what? Don't tell me how important your leg is to me. Did he crack open a wallet and send you $20?
Never.
Did he send a taxi cab to your house and help you go to the hospital?
Never.
Did he come down and visit you when you had surgery?
Never.
Did he send you a bag of ice at least?
Nope.
So I don't feel bad for the guy. Don't defend morons. I mean, that's all I'm going to say. This guy to me is
a pretty nasty letter.
A low life piece of work, and I don't know what this guy can do to get people to write a person with an inflamed leg. How big was this leg compared to your other one?
It was swollen. I mean, you could tell there's a huge difference.
I mean, you couldn't even move this leg without a pinching, stabbing, burning sensation.
I could barely
right?
walk when I first did it. I mean, I was gimping around.
Yeah, I have sympathy for a guy that writes a letter like this and says, your injury is not important. I see 30 injuries a day. Each one of those 30 people, including you, are important beings. Everybody's a unique individual in this world, and they should all be treated equally. And that's the first thing Mr. Fisher needs to learn if he's in the patient-caring business, man.
I mean, this is my health we're talking about.
Right, your health. And this is an injury that could rehabilitate you later on in life. I mean, what did they tell you at the hospital after they do these repairs?
I mean, it'll never be the same again. I know that. I'm going to feel this when I'm older. But it's going to take me at least 6 months to a year to get back to where I was before. Working out, running. I mean, I used to work out every day, and I haven't been able to do that since the injury.
Well, you still look phenomenal. Don't worry about that.
And her mom's back here with me, and she is very hot.
Oh my God!
So she's got a good future ahead of her.
Absolutely, you know that's the key right there. But I tell you, I don't feel bad for a guy like this that has no sympathy or compassion. You know, when you're in the medical industry, you need to have a little compassion for the patient. You know,
right?
And you know, it's your leg that was killing you. It was your leg that you couldn't walk around and do the normal things, even getting up and going to the bathroom. I mean, people don't you know, I've had broken legs and things of that nature. And I'll tell you one thing right now, you know, what you take for granted when you're completely normal and what you can't do now with this injury just to get through everyday life, it's hard. People don't realize how hard it really is to do that. So anyways, Mr. Fisher starts giving you a little bit of attitude, how you shouldn't have attitude, even though you're the one hobbling around with a swollen leg, and you can't get the league to pay for this, and you even went out here to apologize to this guy. I don't understand why you're getting all this attitude. You wrote them. It says, I don't understand all this attitude I'm receiving. If that's how I'm coming off to you, I apologize. I'm concerned with the long-term effects if I get my knee taken care of right away. I mean, you had a legitimate concern, and this guy's belittling you. Never feel bad for trying to get something that belongs to you. And one thing that belonged to you was that health care insurance policy. You paid for it with your money.
That's true. But then again, at that time, I didn't want to step on anyone's toes and, you know, get these nasty letters. I mean, I wanted help from them.
You know, it's just the way that they run this league. I mean, it's so crazy. They're good about telling you to make sure you watch the game on TV on every one of the emails you receive back from these guys.
Right.
Hey, we're gonna take another short break from the Cleveland Sports 360 show. Kelli Leabu from the ex-LFL player. Hopefully her leg's going to heal. She's going to have a halfway normal life, and she can hobble around pretty good right now. I hope it heals 100% and doesn't give her a problem. But I tell you, things like this do flare up, ladies and gentlemen, and she's only, 18 years old. No, 25 years old. I mean, she looks phenomenal. She's a full-time college student. Just trying to make your way through college is hard enough, right? You don't need this aggravation. But, hey, we're going to take another break. Again, if you guys need legal representation and you have a problem, I don't care if it's a will, a real estate transaction, call my lawyer up, Larry Hupertz, Lawrence Hupertz, attorney at law. He's been practicing the law a long time. He's a great guy. He'll sit down with you. He'll help you understand. I don't care if it's a contract, a real estate transaction, your last will and testament. Get your stuff in order. Give Larry Hupertz a call, 216-378-2130. You call him on his cell phone if you're really having a legal emergency, man. 216-789-2092. Larry's over there 5 days a week. He's on the corner of Chagrin and Richmond Road. Great office, great crew of people. They're very sympathetic. You'll never get a letter from Larry Hupertz like this. I can tell you right now, this guy has compassion for people. Nothing like this guy. Hey, if you want to sit down and plan out your retirement and be ready for a rainy day if something ever happens, whether you just got divorced, your uncle left you some money, you don't know what to do with it, get a hold of Vicky Manarino at Raymond James. She's a great lady, and she's sitting by 5 days a week. Hey, I'm going to tell you people right now, maybe you don't know this. You don't give LG money and say, hey, I want to come down and run a commercial on your show, because if LG really doesn't believe in the product or believe in who you are, I'm not going to recommend that person. You cannot buy LG, let me tell you, man. But, hey, we'll talk about it, Give Vicky Manarino a call, 440-516-7550. Call her toll-free, 888-289-7550. We'll be right back with Kelli Leabu, and her mom's back there with Kenyon Johnson. The wheels of steel, always. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Cleveland Sports 360 show. My beautiful co-host for this evening, Kelli Leabu from the Chicago Blitz. Obviously, she can't play LFL football any longer due to a very bad leg injury she sustained. It's just another person who's been affected by the Lingerie Football League, paid for health care insurance, hurts her leg, doesn't get the bills taken care of. I mean, Kelli, do you ever have a hope of playing lingerie football in Mitch Mortaza's league anymore?
No. I mean, I did want to play, but I would never play again.
And what would you tell young ladies that think about doing something like this?
You got to realize it's a full-time job, and if you're not being covered for your injury, I mean, if he wants you to go out there and hit and tackle and have no regard for your body, and he's not going to cover you, make sure you have good insurance to cover yourself.
Right. Hey, I think we might have a caller on the line. Caller, you there?
Yes, sir.
Hey, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad. What do you think of the Cleveland Sports 360 show? We got Kelli Leabu joining us here. She sustained a real bad knee injury. What's your take on this? Have you followed any of the other Cleveland Sports 360 shows? You know where we're coming from with this lingerie football league trying to not take care of these ladies?
Oh, yeah, I've been following it, and I guess a lot of myself and a lot of my friends want to know what's your angle on all this. Are these ladies paying you to represent them, or are you just doing this out of the kindness of your heart?
Well, actually, we're doing this to report the news, caller. And what the news is these ladies are not being taken care of. And anybody that knows me throughout my life, if there's a cause, hey, and we're not totally one-sided in this story either. We tried to go to this league, and we tried to get them to come on this show and join us. We tried to have their lawyer call us live right now tonight. He's been calling Kelli on her cell phone all night trying to stop her from talking. He called our station at ClevelandTalkSports.com 2 weeks ago today at 9 a.m. in the morning, and he tried to give us a cease and desist order, and he tried to get us off the air. He tried to force me to take down the LFL articles from my website. I mean, news is news, and if there's an injustice being done to ladies that wanted to go out and play football, for you and your buddies to even sit there and think LG's trying to take some money from these ladies, you're crazy, man, because I'm doing this because it's news, and we report news. And this is worthy of having it reported on the news. And we want to show other little ladies out there, maybe you better check before you leap because the water may be getting deep and you're going to get hurt. You got that?
Now, with that being said, would you be reporting on this if the Cleveland Browns were winning?
Absolutely, I'd first of all, if the Cleveland Browns would be winning, you probably have to come and do my show from the Cleveland Clinic's cardiac unit because I'd probably have a freaking heart attack and fall over dead if the Cleveland Browns were winning. But let me tell you something. News is news. I mean, you don't understand that or what?
Oh, no, we understand. We're just trying to figure out all angles, LG. You know,
hold up. Who is we?
All,
who is we? Who is we? I hear you. Who is the we part of you?
Well, me and a couple friends of mine. Now, come on, you two guys don't sit back and look at these ladies. Look at her. And with all due respect, she's a very beautiful young lady. But are there other ulterior motives?
There's no ulterior motives.
What would I gain from doing this radio show?
Not the radio show, modeling.
I have no intention to model.
So when you started to play in the LFL, you had no other ambitions but to play football.
Correct. I wanted to play the game.
Hey, let me touch on this modeling thing just for a second because, you know, I'm a little bit educated when it comes to some certain things. And how much do you think a model's worth with a giant scar on her leg, caller? How much?
Well, probably that's my point. I mean, did they start playing this game with hopes of becoming models, with hopes of being the next big star on Victoria's Secret?
No, I have no ambition to do that.
They get hurt, and I'm not denying that they get injured, because it's evident that they do. I'm playing devil's advocate here.
Well, let me tell you something, Mr. Devil. Let me tell you something real closely. Listen up. At first, when the Cleveland Crush came to Cleveland, I was a little bit intrigued, thinking, what the hell are these ladies out here trying to prove? You know? And then I met some of these people. And they wanted to be football players. And there's a great deal of them in the league that really, honest to God, thought they were getting involved with professional football. Now, let me ask you something, caller. How many times have you seen a Cleveland Brown go down with injury? I mean, come on. 2 weeks ago, Hillis hurts his hamstring. Where was he the very next morning?
Oh, he's probably at home milking it.
Bullshit. Bullshit. He's at the frickin' Cleveland Clinic getting a damn MRI. These ladies got to fight for 5 and 6 months to get an MRI. Peyton Hillis tweaks a hamstring, and he's at the Cleveland Clinic the next day getting an MRI. Now, what is that about?
Easy, unless she wants to give you mouth-to-mouth.
No, really. Come on, man. She hurts her leg. 5 months later, she can't get an MRI. Right?
No, and I'm on you with this. I'm with you on this.
Well, Kelli Leabu got an MRI because she took it upon herself, went out, tried to get the insurance to pay for it, got the runaround from the league, finally got it done. Natasha Lindsay in Seattle, Washington, 5 months before getting an MRI, right?
Right.
Tell
Took
us,
her 5 months to get an MRI.
I mean, John, I'll tell you this. What other league, professional league, there's one owner of the entire league, every single team? What other league do you know does that?
None. And I agree with you on that. There should be more than, I don't understand how one guy can have so much control.
Okay,
and
so
like
that's...
in there, they should tell people, how does this guy, marketing-wise, how does this even get off the ground?
Hey, John, let me ask you a question, man. Did you know that this guy owns every team in the league?
Well, I do now. Kenyon just told me that. So, I mean, that's a monopoly all in itself.
And did you ever hear the LFL radio show, John?
No, I have
the
not.
Commissioner's Corner? And this guy goes out and he gives you the point spreads on the different games in the LFL that are coming up. Now,
Well, then Pete Rose tried to do that. Now he got banned and arrested and spent time in prison. It's called gambling, no?
well, let me ask you a question, John. How can one guy own all 12 teams in the league, go on a radio show, give people point spreads, and state this? If I was a betting man, and, by the way, I am a betting man, I would do this.
Well, how is he getting away with it then? Okay?
Do you think that's newsworthy?
Well, that part I do think. I think everything's newsworthy. You're misunderstanding my point of view. Here you got all these beautiful women running around. Let's call it like it is. You see any ugly women in there? Didn't you have a show where you asked, will they recruit ugly women?
That was the Cleveland Browns need cheerleaders. Now, there are some less than desirable-looking women that probably want to be cheerleaders, man. I just asked the question.
I'm talking about these LFLs.
Hey, this guy, first of all, John, here's a guy that's going out and he's promoting a league and he's saying, we only want great athletes. And then he says, you have to supply us with 4 bikini pictures of yourself in order for us to even accept you into our league. So A, we want great athletes, and B, if you don't pass the pose test, you're out, right?
Right.
So what? That's my point. You just hit my point right on the head. What does it take for these ladies to wake up and say, this guy's doing nothing but prostituting us, for lack of a better term? Please, I didn't mean it like that, but just for lack of a better term.
Right. That's why, I mean, I'm letting ladies know, what are you playing for? I mean, you're playing for the love of the game. That's what a lot of us want. That's why we want to play. But how he's taking advantage of us if you get hurt, and how he's, saying the girls from the Triumph team, there's a possibility of twisting your knee and, getting hurt, and if you could get hurt playing this game, and if you didn't know that, go play ballet.
But wait a minute,
But yeah,
though.
he doesn't. I got hurt, and he has never backed me with getting, help for my knee.
And not only that, John, she paid. She knew she could go into a football game, and she knew she could get hurt. So what did she do? She didn't make that much money. She's not rich. She's a college student full time. So she paid the money for the health care insurance out of her first check. The very first thing this league does is take your money to pay for health insurance. And then when you get injured, tell us what happens.
You get the runaround.
So what do you think of that, John? Is that newsworthy?
That's very newsworthy.
And that's what I'm doing here, man. This got nothing to do with money. Huh?
What did he do before he decided he's going to open up an LFL, lingerie football league? What did this gentleman do for a living prior to this?
Well, go on YouTube and look up Blind Date. Remember that show, Blind Date? Type in Mitch Mortaza in Blind Date, and then you see what he does. I mean, you see what kind of a person he is. You'll see how he's doing things. I mean, that's all I can tell you. I don't know what he did every single day of his life. But, that's the problem, and that's where I'm coming from with this. If these girls would have paid their health insurance and they would have got injured, and boom, just like Peyton Hillis, he frickin' pulls a hamstring, John. How many times you pull a hamstring, John?
Oh, I've had my share.
Did you go right down to the Cleveland Clinic the very next morning and get an MRI?
Well, back in those days, the Cleveland Clinic was nothing.
But let me tell you something, John.
I went to a bunch of hack doctors.
The point is, if you're going to run a professional or bill yourself as a professional sports organization, you make people pay for insurance, they get injured, you get them a frickin' MRI. It's that simple. Hey, thanks for calling, man. Call us back next week, man. We'll be talking some Browns football. And if they don't get a win next week, John, I hope you take a brick and throw it right through your television set and teach those Browns a lesson, man, that you're tired and sick of putting that on your Sunday afternoons, man. Get out there and do something useful, man, because we're just wasting time. Again, ladies and gentlemen, we got Kelli Leabu. Sorry I lost it a little bit out there, people. We got some guy calling in going, what are you doing this for? We're doing it because it's an injustice, and we don't go for injustices in the United States, man. This is not a foreign country where we beat women and we drag them into a cave and we force them to do things beyond their will. They have equal rights. They have a women's movement. You guys should really get a hold of that lady that picketed the Augusta Masters and go, hey, look what these guys are doing to us here, man. We're going to work on that when we come back. We're going to talk about a little bit of that. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, again, if you need a good attorney, you got a DUI, let's hope you didn't. Do not drink and drive. We don't go for that. I don't know who keeps putting beers in front of Kenyon when we're doing up at Applebee's on Sunday.
I have no idea who keeps putting those beers at our live.
They're trying to get him busted up there, but he's smart. He doesn't drink and drive. But if you did, and you need an attorney, get on the phone. Call my attorney, Larry Hupertz, Lawrence Hupertz, attorney at law, 216-378-2130. Or you can catch him on his cell phone if you're sitting behind bars and you really got it bad. Give him a call at 216-789-2092. He'll be there for you. He'll take good care of you. He's a great guy. If you're looking for financial planning, call Vicky Manarino over at Raymond James, 440-516-7550. Call her today. Don't put it off any longer. Give her a call toll-free, 888-289-7550. We'll be back in 2 minutes with more Kelli Leabu, former LFL football player. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Cleveland Sports 360 show. We come at you live from the West Bank of the Flats at the beautiful Cleveland Talk Sports studio every Monday night from 6 to 7. We were so fortunate to get Kelli Leabu here. She's our co-host for this evening, former LFL football player. Maybe you're just tuning in late. Let's just give you a quick rundown. Kelli wanted to play football. She's like so many other ladies that thought she was getting involved in a professional football league. She got health care insurance from this so-called professional football league. She got a bad leg injury. The reason I said bad, ACL, meniscus, and cartilage, 3 for the price of 1. She had to have reconstruction surgery to get her leg fixed. This so-called professional organization, who she paid money for their health care policy to, screwed her. Just like they screwed Natasha Lindsay. And just like they screwed so many other players that were trying to get what was rightfully theirs. We're getting not text messages, we're getting missed phone calls before this show started from the league's lawyer, David Foreman. Again, Dave, the number's 216-672-4300. We asked you to call in, talk to her on the air. Obviously, you don't want to do that. You just want to threaten little girls and try to make them scared of you. But guess what? After this show, we're going to sit down and we're going to talk to our own lawyer, aren't we?
That's right.
And we're going to sit down with this lawyer and we're going to find out what really happens to people when they buy health care insurance and these people that they buy it from don't come forward and don't give out the information so that they can get their injuries fixed. And we're going to talk to this lawyer, and we're putting out a plea right now. We're putting out a plea to every lingerie football league player that ever suffered an injury while playing lingerie football or preparing to play lingerie football, who has been screwed over by this league. We're pleading with you to send us an email at cs360@clevelandsports360.com. If you know Kelli Leabu, you know other players that have injuries?
I do.
And did they get this all taken care of, or are they getting screwed around too?
The ones I do know, some of them had insurance, so they kind of lucked out. But
they didn't get it covered through their league insurance policy, right?
I can't really say. I don't think so, but I can't really say. The one girl that I do know got hurt.
So you're going to get in touch with these girls, and we're gonna get a group of all the injured girls together, and we're going to go see this lawyer, and we're going to sit down. We're going to have a legitimate conversation with them, and we're going to see just what can be done to get what's rightfully yours. What do you think of that?
I think it sounds great.
Yeah. And I tell you right now, I talked to Natasha Lindsay this evening earlier. She was good enough to call me right before the Cleveland Sports 360 show, and she wants to come on and see what can be done for her, because she's still in debt with a mountain of money, and she's still trying to get her medical bills paid for, and she may have life-altering injuries that later on in life you're going to be, what do doctors tell you? Is there any chance of getting arthritis in this knee now?
Oh, I bet. I mean, no doubt about it. I'll feel it later.
They said, we'll try to fix you up. Did they give you a percentage what you could get back to?
I'll never be 100%, but they never gave me a percentage of what I can get back to. I could just tell you this. I know even after surgery, I don't think I'll be back. My knee pops like crazy. It's still, it's going to take me a while, so we'll see, but I don't think I'll ever be 100%.
Well, I got to tell you this, and the other guy, ClevelandTalkSports.com, there's a show on here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with unsportsmanlike conduct with our main man, Kenyon Johnson, Errol Porter, and the beautiful Kenya Huff. And I got to tell you, after coming through the same surgery that EP went through, you look a hell of a lot better than he does. What do you think, Kenyon?
Hey, man, I wish she was here instead of him every day.
And then it took EP quite a bit of time to get back to work. So tell us, you're going to college right now, right?
Right.
and you're a full-time student. How did this hamper your ability to get through college? You can't even drive, can you?
No, I can't drive. I had to withdraw from all my classes last semester because of this injury. I didn't, want to start school when I was trying to figure this out. I wanted to get it done right away. Just the stress of it, I kind of just, dealing with it every day, not knowing where to go next. It brought me down a lot. I was pretty much crying like every day. So I withdrew because I knew I couldn't handle school and this.
So, you know, that's a lot, trying to get your knee reconstructed from an injury you sustained and trying to take care of all your classes. You're a full-time college student, right? So
Correct.
that's a heavy caseload on you, right? I mean, you got a lot of, and then you were tied up on the phone for hours trying to get this mess straightened out, or hours worth of emailing back and forth that never, ever got anything resolved for you, right?
Right. Well, I moved back home right after, and I always had intentions to move back home right after the season was over. So I moved back home, and that was when my classes were going to start. But then, I got hurt maybe 2 weeks prior. So I was dealing with a lot of the issues that go along with this injury.
Now, let me ask you another question, because I've heard allegations, and maybe you can substantiate some of these allegations, that Mitch Mortaza, he wants people to give what they call the death blow or something there, or a death hit, or does he encourage people to go out there and do some extracurricular activity during football games?
He's told us to get in each other's faces, to fly around. Initially, he says that, they're not out here to see you play. He said that one time before, but, he instigates us to get in each other's faces.
So does he inspire the fisticuffs that take place, people fighting or anything like that?
I don't know if, he really instigates that. I think that's classless. Our coaches didn't approve of that, so... But yeah, he wanted us to be physical with one another.
Now, if somebody would go against the league, the typical, whatever you want to call it, status quo of how this league's supposed to run, like does a coach ever get in Mitch Mortaza's face and say, "Listen, this isn't going to go this way"?
My coaches always defended our team, so one of my coaches got suspended from one of our games, so he wasn't allowed to go to the game.
Just for sticking up for you guys?
Right.
So what a normal coach would do, sticking up for his players, is not allowed in this LFL. Does that seem right to you?
Yeah, that sounds, he wants the coaches to be his puppets too. So, my coaches were great, and they always defended us before, before he could get to us.
Did you ever hear of these players that played in this Lingerie Bowl? Was there supposed to be bonus money paid to these people, and they get a bigger check if you made it to the Lingerie Bowl or anything? Did you ever hear of anything like this?
Yeah, we were supposed to be paid for it. For the playoffs, we were supposed to be paid, but a few weeks prior, we got an email stating that we were no longer being paid, and if we didn't sign it, we were terminated from the team. So
all of a sudden, you go from being a paid player to screw you, we're not paying you anymore? Is that about what happens?
Yeah, before our playoff game, we got these. Our game against LA was our fourth game against LA was in the first week of January, and we received this email stating this, and we had to turn it in 2 weeks after. If we would have won that game against LA, our team would have banded together and refused to sign it. That's what we all talked about. But we lost, so we decided to go ahead.
So only the winners were going to get money. The losers don't get paid?
No one got money.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And whoever didn't sign it never came back. So there was a girl that did not sign it, and she didn't come back.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank Kelli Leabu for coming in. Again, I want to remind any Lingerie Football League player that's out there and is suffering any kind of an injury, we are seriously getting together with one of the biggest, big-time people when it comes to representing the injured victim. We're not going to give any names. We'll keep you updated throughout the weeks and months, because none of this stuff goes easy. But if you have been injured in the LFL, get a hold of us. get a hold of us either at clevelandtalksports.com. And Kenya will take a message. 216-672-4300. Send me an email with your name and contact information in it at cs360 at clevelandsports360.com. Please include your contact information. We'll have this attorney talk to you. It's worth talking. It costs you nothing to talk to this attorney. We're going to go and see if there's something that you justifiably have coming. You've paid for this health insurance. You were injured. Who the hell knows? It could be a workman's comp claim. Who knows what it could be? These people are the experts. I certainly have no expertise in that area. Again, Kelli Leabu, anything you'd want to tell future hopefuls to the LFL?
I would say don't do it.
A lot of girls are learning the lesson the hard way, people. You know, they love.
Not worth it.
You know, they love playing football. This guy doesn't take care of you the right way. It's supposed to be a professional football organization. Mitch Mortaza, if you're out there listening, I encourage you to call in. We'll make a day with you. Come on in, do the show with us. You could do Kenyon Johnson's show on sportsmanlike conduct with her. You know, Errol Porter, Kenyon Johnson, Kenya Huff, 3 to 5. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We got E-Love on Fired Up with Sam and Vince. Thursday afternoon from 2 to 3. We got the Courtney G Experience every Thursday night. This is a funny guy, Courtney G, professional comedian. Courtney G Experience, Thursday night, 6 to 7 p.m. And don't forget, Living Fit, Fridays at 1:30 p.m. in the afternoon. You will not believe what great shape these ladies are in. Hey, tune in again next week for the Cleveland Sports 360 show. We're going to have some legitimate good things happening here, hopefully. We got a big guest. We're not going to announce it yet because I got to confirm it Wednesday afternoon. But we got a big guest next Monday night that's coming down to the Cleveland Sports 360 show.
Thank you,
again,
Tony.
Hey, you need a lawyer? Don't forget, Larry Hupert's my lawyer standing by to help you out, whether it's a will, real estate transaction, some kind of baloney contract that some schmuck's trying to get you to sign and you don't want to do it. Take it to Larry Hupert's. He'll look it over for you. He'll tell you what you should and should not do. Give attorney Larry Hupert's a call at 216-378-2130, or you can reach him on your cell phone, his cell phone, 216-789-2092. If you're looking for a place to put your nest egg, and believe it or not, you got to start now. Kelly, do you have a retirement fund?
I don't.
When you get a job and you start making some money, are you going to call Vicky Manarino and set yourself a savings plan?
I will.
Really? Call me. I'll give you her number because I know you'll forget. But, ladies and gentlemen, call Vicky Manarino at Raymond James, 440-516-7550. Call her toll-free, 888-289-7550. Hey, God bless each and every one of you. If you're an LFL player and you think you have an injury that wasn't handled correctly, give us a call. And send me an email, cs360 at clevelandsports360.com. Until next Monday night, 6 to 7 for the Cleveland Sports 360 show. God bless you all and have a wonderful week. Kelly, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you'll come back one of these days.
I will.
We could talk some legitimate. Hey, you like basketball?
I do.
Maybe
I love basketball.
Well, maybe when the Cavs, if the Kenya, are we ever going to have basketball?
Not this year.
Okay, so next year you'll come back. Your leg will be healed a little more.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, good night. Thank you for tuning in to the Cleveland Sports 360 show. We'll see you next week. Peace.